My pathway to conservation is a little bit roundabout because I started out thinking I wanted to study bats and birds and wildlife, and I did. I went to undergraduate school and I started out doing bats, and then eventually I moved to migratory birds. But then I found out I didn't really enjoy the research aspect of it. I found out I was pretty good at taking those complex concepts and making them understandable. And so what I started doing is volunteering in parks, and then I worked my way up into being a park naturalist and doing interpretive programs. And eventually I found my way to the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center. Right, so the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center is a research branch of Smithsonian. Most of the time, when people think Smithsonian, they think museums and rocks and fossils and dinosaurs, but we're one of the world's leaders in science research. And so at the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center, or CERC, we have about 3,000 acres of land, and it's all wildlife preserve and a living laboratory where our scientists work on understanding forests and ecosystems. We have the world's leaders in understanding climate change in the near shore zone, so where water meets land, because that's a very threatened environment, but it's also one of the most productive in the world. So our scientists are busy doing research on everything from how sea level rise is affecting plants along the shore, looking at orchids in our native ecosystems and the fungus that they need to survive, and even things like looking at whole forest ecosystems with our 100-year tree study. So at the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center, we have scientists that work with native orchids, and there are orchids found across North America and around the world. And we are a part of the North American Orchid Conservation Group. And so our scientists specifically are looking at the relationships of mycorrhizal fungus, the fungus that helps the orchids grow. And so as a part of that research, we're taking that, and my job is to take that complex research and to make it understandable and hands-on. And so a part of it is we have students who are growing orchids in the classroom and measuring them, looking at the leaves, and helping scientists understand the relationship between how those orchids grow with and without fungus and different treatments. So they're doing real-world hands-on science, and then not just correlating that to orchids, but also to pollinators and to native plants in general, because orchids are native plants and they're part of our ecosystems and important. So that's some of the work that we're doing with helping students understand orchids and their role in ecosystems.